I think that's part of the lesson that Batman learned
Yeah.
in this movie. Part of his arc is that he has to learn, as a vigilante, you can't go out and just punch bombs, right?
Yeah.
You can't punch bombs like you punch thugs,
Yeah, you're right.
right?
Yeah.
And bombs, you can't out punch a bomb. So you have to just, be the symbol of hope after the bomb.
The Batman, our Bats, is a ground level superhero now. No crazy, because DC is known for having their gods among men, where this is just a rich guy in hockey gear, right?
Especially coming off of the last Batman, who was like fighting gods from space with a car.
Tell me, do you bleed?
He fought Superman with a robot suit, so it was like the biggest Batman ever. And then this guy is literally, he just carries his suit in a backpack and walks the streets.
Yeah, it was very street level. So what's your first, before we jump into full, did you like it?
I liked it fine. I thought the movie as a film, it's cool. I like the aesthetics, but I mean, overall, I thought it was good. Well executed, well made movie. I thought Arbats pulls off Batman. I like what he does with Batman. Everything is great about it, technically. I feel like I feel about this movie the same way I felt about Joker, where it's like, it's not just being a movie, it's doing an impression of another movie.
Right.
As whereas Joker was trying to be Taxi Driver and King of Comedy, this is trying to be Seven and Silence of the Lambs.
Right. Oh, that's a good point. Yeah. It was a little bit of both of that, because I couldn't put my finger on the movies. Like, it was, for Joker, it was clear as day, right? He was being Taxi Driver, and you felt that Scorsese feel. But this was like, remember I told you, it was like, it's kind of Zodiac Killer, but it's kind of Nighthawks. It's kind of like To Live and Die in LA. This could be any, like, if he just took off his cowl, he's just trying to capture this crazy serial killer. But it's very ground level. I mean, because he's, Riddler's not killing people with anything that you would consider funny, right? With the carpet lifter, killing people with a carpet lifter. And then he was just doing, like, he thought it was funny to, like, basically tape this guy's face, so all the holes, and then he put some rats in there. So, I mean, it was dark. Like, and I don't mean dark as in, like, the dark content, which it was dark.
It was super dark.
It was dark, and it was like,
super dark. I was so
shit.
The scene with the Batmobile was extremely dark.
Yeah.
When you're showing, like, it's like your biggest set piece where you're introducing the Batmobile, and it's a brand new car, and you couldn't see anything.
No, you couldn't see shit. And and Mike's on, so he's still on. Was like, I heard, the Pacific Northwest get a lot of rain. There was a lot of rain in this. Like, I always thought Gotham was in New York, but clearly it's not, because that was a lot of rain. It was a lot of rain, right?
Well, I think it adds to the ending, right? Because they get flooded, so probably the rain was.
Yeah, I just felt like I was getting wet.
Man, I don't have a sound effect for that. Right?
Is that a wet noise?
But yeah, I think all the rain is intentional because it ends with the flooding, right? So the rain was building up all week from Halloween till they broke the dam.
Damn. Yeah, and that was so here's kind of what got me, that I don't, and tell me if you're wrong. I feel like the bad guy won in this, right?
Yeah, he did win.
Sorry, let me type this out. But I feel like he won. Like, what did Batman stop?
He didn't stop anything, essentially. Man, I didn't think about it that way. No, because Riddler's plan went to fruition. He blew up the dam, flooded the town. I guess what did Batman stop? Nothing.
No,
he didn't help at all.
It's just like and it didn't. I don't know. Like, everybody that the Riddler wanted to kill, other than Bruce Wayne, died. And it could be Mark. Did we throw the spoiler warning up? Should we have thrown the spoiler warning? There we go. But I don't know. I guess we're more than a week in. So Do you think the Riddler knew who Batman was? You think he was just trolling him there at the end?
No, I don't think he did.
You don't
I
think he
think
knew who it
Carmine
was?
Falcone knew.
Oh, really?
Yeah, when he dies, he gives him a look, and he's just like, because remember, he's got that whole part where he gives a speech about his dad saving his life, and he's like, I remember you watching from the stairs above the whole time,
Right.
and he gives him that last look when he's dying, and I think he knew Bruce was Batman.
Oh, that's interesting. I never really thought of that. Maybe he knew who that was, but yeah, I guess you're right. It could be that. I don't know. I feel like Riddler did know it was him, but I mean, I just felt like the whole thing of just like, is a riddle as funny if everybody knows the answer? Like, I feel like he's the kind of this type of villain, which is basically a domestic terrorist. It would kind of like see that as like a power card. So instead of using it and just telling people just to troll them, like Joker's an agent of chaos. If Joker knew who it was, it could be argued that he would reveal that Batman and Bruce Wayne are the same person before the Riddler would. And I don't think the Joker would either. I think they would try to use it as power over him. But my point was, Batman didn't stop anybody that wasn't supposed to die from getting killed. But were we supposed to be okay with that because they were all corrupt? Well, no, I take that back. Him and Commissioner Gordon stopped stopped Catwoman from pushing that corrupt cop over the side of the building.
Here's the thing. The movie is over when Riddler turns himself in, when he allows himself to be caught. That's
Yeah.
the end of the movie, essentially. This whole part with the flooding and the Gotham Square Garden, GSG,
Yeah.
just felt tacked on. I did like this whole scene. I thought it was a good scene, but it essentially ends at that point. Carmine Falcone gets shot. The Riddler's captured. He's in jail. Mystery over.
The plan worked.
The plan worked. Mystery's over. But then it's like Riddler's like, oh, by the way, no, there's a whole additional thing that this executive said we should put in the movie. We need another action scene to just close it out with a bit. Because like, if you notice, that first 2 hours or 2.5 hours, whatever it is, Batman does like not much cool Batman shit, right? He just like, he punches some folks.
He's a big puncher.
Big
puncher. Can't stop now.
He doesn't really know karate or anything like
No.
that. He's just punching people as hard as he can.
Yeah.
He doesn't use his grappling hooks in exciting ways. He just kind of grapple hooks up, right? And that's
Yeah.
it. But when you get to that closing scene in the square guard, he's fucking swinging around and taking drugs. He takes like some adrenaline shots and stuff like that.
Well, that's the rumor is that's the Bane stuff that, and they're leading into Bane. Because Bane was a big steroid abuser, that super steroid, and Batman kind of shot that adrenaline into him there. But you're right. He didn't do anything really. But remember, and I think it was very forgivable in this one because this was rookie Batman. This was year 2 Batman. Like, even when he used his flying squirrel suit, he got wrecked when he jumped off the building. Like, he didn't even know how to use it. So maybe it's just he hasn't really. So I feel like that was kind of forgivable. He was a big door knocker too. He was into knocking on doors, and then he's like, "Do you know who I am?" I thought that was funny.
Yeah, he just go to the club where the gangsters hang out and knock on the door.
Yeah,
That's weird.
It's like, "Do you know who I am?" What I did like, and I should preface that I did also enjoy the film. I feel like I would have enjoyed this better if it was a 4-episode series, though. Full disclosure, I told you I went and saw it the second time. I'm like, I'm trying to decide if it was too long or not. And then I realized it wasn't too long, but I think it would have played better as a series.
I thought it was fine. It was long enough, I think, to get plenty of story in there.
Yeah, they got tons of story.
I don't really need an extra hour of that whole thing. I thought it was stylish. It went fast. It didn't feel like 3 hours, even on the second viewing. I think this is the best Catwoman thus far.
Oh, shoot, Zoe Kravitz, yeah. Clap for Zoe Kravitz. I thought she was great. I was a huge fan of Zoe Kravitz for this. She looked good. She knew the part. She's the whole thing. I got to think for straight. I guess that's because we said this. This is not a fun movie, and there wasn't a ton of laughs, but there was a laugh. The laugh there was just like, you got a lot of cats. That was just like so random.
She's got the best walk of any of the Catwomen thus
Yeah,
far.
she has the cat. She
She's got
has
the cat
the
walk
yeah.
down.
She has the Eartha Kitt vibe, right? And I don't know if you were. I forgot the other one. I think of Eartha Quit or Eartha Kitt, but I don't know. She had it. She nailed it, and I liked it. She has a thing for strays. Maybe she's just a big milk drinker, but yeah, she did a really good job.
What do you think of the Bat voice in this one? I was realizing that Robert Pattinson did something very different, right? Remember we had Christian Bale did the whole like you're wearing hockey pants, and
Yeah.
then Batfleck had he had like a microphone or something.
Yeah, his was a
in
voice
his
modulator,
suit.
right?
I think Michael Keaton he didn't really do a crazy voice, but he like tried to like talk tough or something like that, you know?
Yeah.
Robert Pattinson is totally he whispers the whole movie.
So he's in more.
Batman whispers.
Yeah, I guess it was a little bit more in whispers. I was okay with it. I thought he did a really. I was one of the very few that was not concerned with him because I feel like the internet, Twitter, or whatever, every time they've been concerned with casting, they've been wrong, and the Heath Ledger thing really woke me up to that one because Michael Keaton, remember all the hate letters that no one wanted him. I was never worried about Pattinson. I knew he was going to do a good job with it, and I liked his take of it. So if he wanted to go with like the whispering route, so you really, I guess if you're whispering, that's his way of disguising his voice, right? But I was okay with
Yeah.
the whispers.
No, the whispers were fine. I thought it was really cool. I thought that was an interesting take. And not only that, but he also walks slower than any other Batman. He walks
Yeah.
extremely slow every time he's got the suit on.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and they added that scene in the trailer, but it was definitely one of the coolest shots, right? Walking upside down from the fire. That was a really good shot, and it was the slow walk. I liked his creeping out of the darkness, and it was always the slow walk of just like not knowing what to expect. But again, remember this was year 2 Batman, so not everybody knew who he was. And I wonder if there was any pretenders. Now, clearly, they knew enough that he said, right, this symbol in the sky is not only an alert for me, but it's a warning for everybody else. And those people knew who it was. But then, the gang of thugs with the face painted, they're like, who the hell are you supposed to be? They weren't 100% clear that that's Batman, except the guy with the half face. He was the only one that he looked up to the sky. He's like, oh shit. And that guy, ironically, plays Tim Drake in Titans, who future will become a Robin. I don't know if that's associated in this film or not, because I don't know if they tie that together because there's a different Batman in Titans.
Sidebar: that gang at the beginning in the opening scene. The opening scene is really good, by the way.
Yeah.
But they're Joker gang. Did you notice that?
I felt like they were
They've
Joker
got the Joker
gang.
faces on.
Yeah, and their faces were painted, and now I guess it really drove it home that Joker was captured in the end. So did Batman capture Joker in year 1? Of him,
Something
of
like
him being
that's going
Batman?
on. Yeah, but we already have an established Joker who exists.
Well, we have a couple different shows, and to me, and the ending scene, obviously they hint that that's Joker's, and I don't know if they're going to base it on the comic book. What is it, like the year of jokes and riddles and stuff, where they actually, but they've always had that, right? The '60s Batman, where we learned all about shark repellent, they had the four, right? Catwoman, Penguin, Joker, and Riddler. Those were his 4. So they had all 4 in this one. So I kind of dug that. But it's risky business to have anything with Joker right now, just because Joaquin Phoenix made such a huge splash with that. And it was basically really risky for him, even as good of an actor as he is, for him to kind of touch what Heath Ledger did. And not only he did it, two actors won an Oscar for playing Joker. So that's a lot of pressure for the actor who plays in the Eternals to be the Joker. So I don't know if I'm ready for another Joker.
I don't want any more Jokers. Just save the Joker for the finale or something. I'm bored of Joker. It's done. I think the next movie should have Mr. Freeze or like some other character that a lot of folks don't know about. They've done Joker a bunch of times now. Joaquin Phoenix, like you said, two actors have won Oscars playing the Joker. Just don't do Joker again, and maybe later, but just don't do it now.
Yeah.
There's plenty other like villains you can pick from.
What is the word that he uses in Peacemaker when he's just like Batman has a cavalcade of arch enemies or whatever? But yeah, there's plenty. Mr. Freeze supposedly is the rumored to be Matt Reeves' favorite.
I think that's a great idea.
So I'd like to see.
I'm terrified.
My name is Freeze. Learn it well. It's the sound of your doom. I would like to see that. I'd like to see Poison Ivy.
A realistic freeze guy that can freeze you with some kind of ray gun.
Yeah.
That's terrifying.
I do cryotherapy every week, and there's the thought of that, like, wow, if I stay in here too long or a piece of my skin touches this, I can literally get frostbite. That's terrifying. And if somebody shot a cryotherapy machine at you, it would be crazy. So I'd like to see that. Mike asked, how's your feelings on the evolution from the symbol of vengeance to the symbol of hope? Was that clear to you?
Yeah, I mean, he says it right at the end in the ending voiceover.
Yeah,
I thought it was a good arc for Batman and story, because generally in a Batman film, he's just Batman the whole movie, and that's it. And he has adventures and fights folks. I like that they tried to give him an arc in this movie and say he learned something by the end.
Yeah.
But like you said, he didn't save anything. But I guess that's part of the learning process.
Yeah, no, I told you, it was like he had to be a hero after the villain succeeded. Then he had to figure out how to be a hero, and I guess that's where the hope go. I was okay with it. I think it was pretty clear, because if you ever hear any kind of like, if you had anger towards somebody and that there's always a bigger fish, talking about Qui-Gon Jinn, like if you get your revenge, something else is going to happen, or you're not going to know when to. I think it was clear that I think the whole beating the crap out of these guys and pretending they're, the people that shot his parents, and he realizes that there's always going to be something else, and it's not going to give me the peace I want. So I could see that. But I was okay with it. I think we need to get away with, because here's the risk that they're running right now. With each iteration of Batman, do you notice it's getting darker and darker and darker and more realistic? And I was talking to my old wrestling tag partner, Wayne, and he's like, so eventually it's just going to be, guess what? Batman's a serial killer now.
I mean, that's kind of what it is now.
Right.
It's so grounded. If you took away the bat suit, you could just, like I said, you could just release this movie as a film, and it's a well-made film. Just call it, like I said, Detective Vengeance.
Yeah.
And that's it. He just works with the cops, and he just, exact same movie, just no bat suit.
Right.
And that's how grounded it is at this point. And it's fine. I mean, I thought it was good. I thought the way they did it, the film is well made. I liked it, but I don't know. Does it run the risk of just being so grounded that it's not even a superhero movie anymore? I mean, this is the most grounded superhero movie I think I've ever seen.
No, it by far, hands down, it was. Other than Joker, right? That was super.
Yeah, this
grounded.
is only a hair above Joker, right?
Yeah,
because even in like Dark Knight, everyone when the last the Nolan trilogy came out, people were like, "Oh, he made Batman seem possible. It seemed like it could actually happen, like it's real." But there's actually like a lot of sci-fi in there, right? Like they're like sci-fi tech shit that doesn't actually exist. They just made stuff up. This is just literally a dude in football pads or whatever.
Yeah.
Some kind of bulletproof shit. It's super bulletproof, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Because he gets shot like 1,000 times.
Oh man, yeah. No, he was getting, and it's just like, what's protecting his jaw from getting shot? Oh man, dude. I don't mean to cut off our Batman stuff. And do you want AEW spoilers?
Oh, yeah, go ahead. Yeah, I don't mind.
So, there's a chance that I see Matt Hardy got voted out of the Hardy family office, and that was a tweet 3 minutes ago. And then Britt Baker tweeted Hardy Boys with a hashtag AEW Dynamite. I'm not seeing anything on there, so I don't know if it's actually official or not, but I guess that really does. Oh, yep. Damn it. All right. Sorry, I kind of spoiled it. I hope anybody there watching here. Oh, yep. Okay. It's a thing. It is a thing.
Hardy Boys are back.
Breaking news. And they said with original music. They got the Hardy Boys theme music.
Tony Khan just can buy whatever the fuck he wants. Hey, I want to talk. Let's finish Batman, then we'll
Yeah,
go
let's
back
do
on
it.
this.
Sorry, because I know we're gonna cut this into a pod, and just like all of a sudden they're talking about Hardy Boys, and they're like,
Editors cost like $75 an hour, bro.
I
Come
know.
on.
It's like, what are you
We
doing?
got to do it in order.
Yeah, sorry. It's just like so. Anyway, speaking of Hardy Boys and mystery books, we have this detective called Batman that we're talking about.
Mike says he rented Detective Vengeance in 1992. I think it's a great title. We should make that now. So we need to pitch Detective Vengeance as a
Detective
film.
Vengeance. Yeah, noticed everyone kept calling him Vengeance, and no one. He was never really referred to as the Batman. They called him a freak. They called him, "Come on, Vengeance." What was your feeling on Colin Farrell as the Penguin?
That was the best Penguin ever.
Yeah,
I mean, because the Danny DeVito one, I think people have nostalgia for it, but it was kind of stupid.
it was comedy.
It was dumb. Like it didn't make any sense. He was the Penguin is an actual penguin. No, I like that he's just like a gangster, and it's Colin Farrell and a bunch of makeup doing a Robert De Niro impression.
Oh yeah, think about it, because think about when Henry Hill's doing that scene in Goodfellas when he's walking down, he's like, "There's Tony 2 times, and there's this guy." And it's like, that's guy. We call him Penguin because he walks because he has a waddle.
Yeah,
and that's
exactly.
why he's Penguin. So, but yeah, he was unrecognizable. It's just like you wouldn't even know. Would you if you were watching that, you wouldn't know it was Colin Farrell?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't seem like anybody.
You know what that's
that
called?
recognized.
Acting. Like, yeah. So, props to him. But did they? I thought it was because it was interesting that Colin Farrell was once one of the people that was up to play Batman. That somebody looked at him and was like, you know what? You'd make a really good Penguin.
How did he get that gig? You must know Matt Reeves or something.
I don't know. There must be some kind of connective tissue there, for sure. But I think he knows. But he did a great job, and they really did establish. So an HBO Max series is coming not only for Gotham PD.
That one's off. That one got canceled.
Oh, it did?
Yeah.
So it was no more year one Gotham PD?
No Gotham PD. That's gone.
So they're going right to Penguin?
I think they're reshuffling. I think they didn't realize because the Batman did super good at the box office. They made a shit ton of money, and I don't think they were estimating. Now they're just like, whoa, people like this. Damn it. Okay, let's rethink this. Now they're rethinking their series altogether.
Yeah, but why? Why wouldn't you realize? Again, we talked about this was on our show last week. People weren't feeling the hype until the very, very, very last second.
Yeah.
They were not feeling the hype. But again, we circle back to Batman Begins. It was the same way because Batman Begins was here and then Dark Knight was like, bam. So do you think that's going to happen with the Batman and then the second Batman? People are going to be like, bam.
I don't know. I think I'm going to just say this. This is a hot take. One of the factors about this Batman that I think people didn't account for is how much this Batman is for the ladies.
Oh, yeah.
This is probably the most sexualized, hottest Batman they've ever done, right?
Yeah.
They even got him in eyeshadow for half the movie, and it's the guy from the Twilight movies, from the movies you loved when you were a teenager or whatever, and you were way into that.
Cedric Diggory was in Twilight.
Now he's in Batman, so maybe folks weren't generally hyped for it, but when it came out on Friday, I was like, I kind of want to see the vampire kid. What's his name? I don't know what he was named in the Twilight, but I want to go see that guy as Batman. That sounds good.
Yeah, Edwin. I don't know what we talked about this last week. Do you think they would go for basically book a gimmick match and have Kristen Stewart play Poison Ivy? She would kill it. She's also a great actress. Would you go for the gimmick and have Twilight reunion on Batman and basically Batman versus Poison Ivy?
I don't think they would go that route. I think it's.
But think about this: if they go meta, right? If they go real life, that's the whole thing with that tension. Similar to, I think Catwoman and Batman were a little bit more compatible. The bats and the cats. Where the Poison Ivy is just it was there a little bit, but obviously it's in the name. It's implied. It's poison. If you fall in love with this, it's gonna suck because it's gonna hurt. It's gonna burn. It's gonna itch. Do you think that's worth risking the gimmick because that's money? You're going to get a gimmick now that you're having a Twilight reunion and you got a new villain in Poison Ivy. You know, Uma Thurman did a good job, but again, that was a little bit more of the comical take. But I can see Kristen Stewart doing a really darker take on Poison Ivy. To have somebody that's very, a vegan who's just kind of attacking everybody, kind of like the whole health halos in a lot of people's face and just taking it to a whole another level. Doesn't anyone care about what happened to the beast? Well, yeah, Poison Ivy does, and she's gonna whoop your ass for it.
I mean, I think Poison Ivy would be great as a character. I just think if they booked Kristen Stewart for it, it would draw too much attention to itself.
Yeah,
I think it would be a distraction.
it's too risky.
But Poison Ivy as a character would be great. Put her in the movie. But yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
don't
mean,
know.
there's tons of great. You know who I would book as Poison Ivy is my favorite actress. We talked about her on the Scream podcast once upon a time. I would book Mikey Madison. Is that her last name? Mikey,
yeah.
the girl. Spoiler alert. She was well, she was in Scream. We'll leave it at that. But she was one of Manson's followers. And once upon, I remember your white little face. I'd like to see her as Poison Ivy. Book that. And Taylor Lautner as Bane. Now we're talking. If you want to have that Twilight reunion, then you got to get Wolf Boy in there too. And just book him as Bane. So now you got Bane, Poison Ivy, and Batman, and have a Twilight reunion in there.
Just get the whole Twilight crew back into it.
Right.
I mean, if you're gonna do that, you got to lean into that.
Yeah, just like that would be heavy. And it could be done. But yeah, if you didn't want to draw that type of tabloid attention to it, maybe you do go with someone like Mikey and Driscoll. But I would love to see it. Who was my favorite? I don't remember his name, but my other favorite from 60s Batman that they never really revisited in any film was Vincent Price as Egghead. I loved Egghead.
What was Egghead's power?
He just had eggs. I don't know.
Just regular eggs?
Yeah, he didn't have any power. But nobody had powers in those. They were just assholes with like gimmicks. That's all they really had. None of them had any kind of powers. The power was like they would always have some kind of sleeping gas, and for some reason they can walk through it, but everybody else would get knocked TF out. But I want Vincent Price Egghead in there, but I don't know what his power would be. But again, that when you run the risk though, if you start getting into that menagerie, that it's a little bit too comical. The other one was the King Tut. They had an Egyptian one. He was the bigger, so you kind of run the risk. Bane you can ground. Obviously, Tom Hardy grounded Bane pretty well. You just get a steroid abuser in there that would actually give you some roid rage. But Egghead had the power of Vincent Price.
I think they set up Bane in this movie, so Bane must be in the cards.
It must be, yeah.
I think here's one thing. What do you think for the sequel? Because they're going to do a sequel. Obviously, I'm sure they're going to announce it or have if they haven't already. Do you think it should start right after this movie, where the city is destroyed and flooded, and go into like No Man's Land storyline territory? Or should it be like a time jump and now we're like year 4 or something like that?
No, I don't think they can time jump because again, the villain won. And I'm kind of like this, the city was destroyed and they're talking about rebuilding, but then he said, there's going to be looting and stuff like that. I don't think you can get that off that easy. I want to see what happens. I don't think Pattinson get that back broken. I don't know. I'd like to see it. I think you need to finish this. I think a good take on this would be, and I think there's a comic book about this. Basically, they have this story where the National Guard, remember he said the National Guard is coming in, but in the comic books, in one of the books, they wouldn't even let the National Guard wouldn't come in. They're like, screw it. So then all the villains started like basically grabbing territories. Now what you can do is put a wall around there and have an Escape from New York version of the Batman.
Well, I mean, did you read the No Man's Land Batman comics? Do you know about those?
No.
So it's like a whole storyline where Batman or Gotham gets hit with an earthquake, and there's sort of like Batman on horseback trying to, and exactly like you said, the gangs, all the villains take their stuff.
Yeah, that's what I want to see. No time jump. Just totally go for that. No Batman trilogy has been a real-time story. It's been a big part of the angle here. Yeah, I'd like to jump right into it.
I think so because the city is destroyed. You got to see how this plays out.
He won.
You
They
can't
did-
just like cut to, and then 2 years later the water was gone and everything was back to normal.
No, I don't want that. I don't want that at all. I mean, he didn't even get a shot. When he said, I've put 7 bombs around the city, even Christopher Nolan's just like, okay, I got Harvey Dent and I got Rachel. They both have a bombs. Who are you gonna save? He gave him a chance to at least try to save one. This Riddler's like, oh, you're not that smart. I got 7 bombs. Oh, too late. They all blew up. He didn't even get a shot to fix, because couldn't he have at least stopped one? What was Batman's thing for that? There's 7 bombs. Call the commissioner. Too late. Boom! They already blew up. Same thing. It's like, something terrible is going to happen to Alfred. And she's like, oh, it already did about an hour ago. Where the hell were you?
I think that's part of the lesson that Batman learned
Yeah.
in this movie. Part of his arc is that he has to learn, as a vigilante, you can't go out and just punch bombs, right?
Yeah.
You can't punch bombs like you punch thugs, right?
Yeah.
And bombs, you can't out punch a bomb. So you have to just, be the symbol of hope after the bomb.
Yeah, you're right. No, and I think although Mythbusters, I'd like to see the Punch a Bomb episode, but I think you're right. I think I told you this. He had to be the hero afterwards. But man, didn't it seem like a lot of people died?
Yeah. I mean, the city flooded, so people
And you
died.
saw a lot of people just getting, like, all of a sudden just basically getting washed away. That was like, to me, it was just like, wow, not only did the villain win, but the villain won big. He won big. He wiped out tons of people with that.
It's just like Seven. His plan worked, In the end, he won. As I'm saying, this movie's doing a full-on Seven impression
Yeah.
with a big action scene at the end.
And then that's what it was, though. Just like he won, so Batman's going to figure out how to be a symbol of hope. Oh, yeah, because I wasn't crazy about the whole thing of just like, although it was very realistic and it was very grounded. It looked like, again, they're going. Was this filmed before the whole Capitol storming stuff, right? But
don't
I
even
guess
know.
they already had the whole going into chat rooms and figuring some stuff out. That felt very realistic to me, where he just basically had all these people, I am Negan, except they were I am Riddlers.
I am vengeance.
Yeah. And they were and they said that I am vengeance, but that was very realistic. But yeah, he wasn't really able to stop anything. But again, forgiving just because it was year 2 Batman, so he's still learning the ropes. How do you think this is going to fit into the DC EU plans? Like, I know they're going to have these separate universes, but this feels like so grounded. I don't know how you would fit like a Robert Pattinson, because we're going to get the Flash, which, by the way, newsflash. See what I did there? Newsflash. The Flash, Shazam, Black Adam, Aquaman were all delayed today. They all got pushed.
Yeah, because Batman is a success now. They're just like, oh shit, we made a bunch of crap. We made a bunch of crap no one's gonna like. They like this stuff.
They pushed
They
it.
want Nirvana music. They want Nirvana in it, and they want
man.
guys wearing eyeshadow in it. We now we have a bunch of like.
Man, that's a mistake.
We just blew it.
That's a mistake if they do that. Remember, this happened, ironically, this happened. This is why Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man suffered. Remember, there's just like, I think it was around the time of Batman. They're like, oh, they want dark heroes now, so we got to make Spider-Man a little darker, and it just didn't work. And now look, you have Peter 3, and he came in here as fun Spider-Man, and he stole the show. So if they go back and all of a sudden make dark Aquaman, and Shazam was already going to be dark, that's fine, but you can't have dark Flash.
I don't think they're going to do that. I think they're just going to try and have to figure out how to position their stuff and be like, this is separate from this other stuff,
Yeah.
right? Joker and Batman. There's just they have to figure out a way to educate their viewers about how this is all going to work. Because Batman came out, the new Batman, and they love the new Batman.
Yeah.
So now we're going to have another film, and it's going to have Batfleck in it, and they're worried. Folks are going to be confused. It's like, why is Ben Affleck Batman again? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Sorry, yeah, my cups died. But no, you're right. And I think the whole idea is the Flash is going to be the most important movie they have, right? Because Wonder Woman 84 kind of showed that the first one was beloved and the second one people hated. And if they would have went in theaters, they would have hated it as well. There, so Aquaman is a coin toss, but Jason Momoa is very popular, same as Gal Gadot, and they're able to almost like with Harley Quinn, they're so popular as that character. People just like, oh, that one was good, but we still love you. We still love Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn, so we can forgive that. That's why Flash is going to be more important because he's only been established in a movie that was already under turmoil, and now they have to have this film that is basically going to establish the multiverse with two Batmans in there, a popular Batman and one who wasn't popular but eventually became beloved. And like you said, now they have to figure out this film is going to establish how all their other properties in the entire DC universe, past, present, and future, are all hinging on how they establish this. Similar to what is going to happen, we assume, with Doctor Strange, but happened with Spider-Man No Way Home. It established all these films. And guess what? It worked. Now everybody loves all Spider-Mans. All Spider-Mans are loved. All Spider-Mans are welcome. Now this has to happen not only with the Batman, but No Way Home made that with like all the Raimi trilogy and the Webb trilogy. They're all accepted now. You forgot that people didn't like the Webb trilogy. People were not okay with Andrew Garfield. So this is why the Flash movie is going to be super important. Rock is going to be fine. It's going to be Shazam. If it's going to work, if it doesn't work, that's fine. Flash is more important than anything. Shazam did okay. People liked it, so they're going to do the same thing. And I think they do need to raise the stakes, but Flash is more important. And they really need to take, if whatever they're doing to delay because of the Batman, I hope they're focusing on Flashpoint because that's the most important one.
Yeah, I think it's just a matter of they have to figure out how to explain it to people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because not everyone is like on the internet all the time.
No.
Getting all these tidbits from movies. It's like they're just casual moviegoers are going to be like, why is why is Ben Affleck Batman again? I don't understand what's going on. So somehow they've got to figure out how to do this because they're not going to overlap their universes. I don't think anymore.
And I think that's why in that Flash teaser, you hear Michael Keaton's voice, but they never they only show the back of his cowl. But they kind of already hinted what's coming because they said you can go to any timeline. Why do you care so much about this one? So they're already trying to basically prime the pumps to let people know that this is coming.
Yeah.
All right. You want to take the Batman home? I don't know how that went long. Do you want to give me The Office and give final take? You get.
I dug it. I thought it was a fine made film. Like I said, you took the suit away. It's whatever. It's detective vengeance, and it's just a gritty crime drama, and with Robert Pence, and it's still a good movie. You know? I thought the opening was really good. I liked the first 20 minutes. I thought were awesome.
Yep.
Overall, I think it's my second favorite. I guess after Dark Knight. It's good. It's good, but I just, again, the thing that bugs me is just the whole. It's doing 7 again.